Let's begin this hour with a look at some changes in terms of delegate counts for the two Republican candidates left in the race. Over the weekend, Ron Paul scored big time at the Maine and Nevada Republican conventions. Paul got 18 of the 24 delegates at stake in Maine and 22 of the 25 in Nevada. Those numbers, of course, a little fluid, and we may not know the actual totals until the Republican convention in August. But we do want to show you some of the headlines that we saw. Check this out, how Ron Paul could mess with Romney at the GOP convention. Ron Paul power play at Maine GOP convention. Ron Paul wins the majority of delegates from Maine GOP, and Ron Paul nabs Nevada delegates from Romney. Now, for a whole lot of people in the mainstream media, Ron Paul continues to be ignored. But some people are catching on, saying at the very least, he is a force to be reckoned with. And I want to talk more about this, so let's go to political analyst Shelley Roche. Hey, Shelley, how big of a difference do these victories in Maine and Nevada, and as we saw last week in Iowa, make?
Well, these victories are hugely impactful. What we're seeing is that the establishment is in real trouble now. One of their primary go-to arguments against Ron Paul has always been that he's unelectable and that a vote for Ron Paul is a wasted vote. And what we're all seeing this weekend is that this is just not the case. Ron Paul supporters are greater in number, more passionate, and what we saw this weekend, more organized than anyone in the political establishment has given them credit for.
And just to put it plain and simple, I do want to put a map up on the screen, kind of showing the breakdown of the states as of now and who's won them. This map that we're showing, Ron Paul is in the red there, and 11 states have gone to him. Romney is in the blue, and then, of course, Santorum and Gingrich no longer in the race. They've only got a few states each anyways. So when you take a look at a map like this, you got to ask, you know, is this contest really totally over, as a lot of people are saying?
No, it's absolutely not still over. You know, they're a clear signal that despite, you know, the establishment's control of the mainstream media and their unlimited resources, and, you know, that they'd have you believe that the race is over and that Romney is a shoo-in, we're seeing that a growing number of Americans are actually starting to think differently and ask questions, and they're expressing their dissatisfaction with our political system by getting out there and you know, supporting a candidate like Ron Paul.
Over the weekend in Nevada, there was some interesting claims made. I want to play something for you, and then we'll talk about it.
Here's a guy, Mitt Romney supporter, wearing a Ron Paul shirt, sending out fraudulent documents trying to change the election.
So far, these claims have not been verified, but, you know, this guy here at the convention reporting that a Mitt Romney supporter actually put on a Ron Paul shirt and was trying to change some of the results here. Do you think there could be validity to this?
Well, it's certainly possible. I mean, if you look at what happened 4 years ago, the Nevada GOP shut down the convention when they saw that Ron Paul was winning. You know, we've seen any number of shenanigans happen because Ron Paul is such a threat to the establishment. So, you know, I think none of that is outside the realm of possibility, and I'll be very interested to see what happens.
I want to talk about some of Ron Paul's viewpoints. Certainly 4 years ago, as you mentioned, he was really ignored. As he made some interesting points in a lot of the debates that we saw a few months ago, you know, you did start to see him once in a while on CNN, on Fox News. Talk a little bit about what you've seen in some of his libertarian viewpoints, some of his arguments in terms of why this country is going in the wrong direction, what needs to change, that have actually seeped in to the more mainstream conservative political discussion.
Well, the thing that I've seen the most, you know, as you mentioned, is he was completely ignored and marginalized by the media in 2008. And, you know, he's still marginalized, but he has been front and center a lot more, specifically around economic policy, foreign policy. And, you know, I think just getting him into some of these media situations, commenting on economics and all of his ideology is starting to get people used to these ideas that were once considered radical, you know, unelectable platforms. You know, they're starting to hear about it, and then when you have something like what happened last weekend, it really validates that people are frustrated and that they're really responding to what Ron Paul's saying.
And Shelley, if you look at some of the recent polls in the presidential election, the campaign, I've been seeing in the last few days dead heat between Romney and Obama. But what happens if Mitt Romney loses some of those people who right now are supporting Ron Paul? What if, they don't show up to the polls? Do you think that it would still be a dead heat?
Well, I think if the worst case scenario, if Romney, goes all the way and things in Tampa, we don't see any challenge by Ron Paul supporters. I think he's still going to have to adopt some of Ron Paul's more accepted ideologies into his platform, because what the GOP has seen is that these kind of libertarian, independent, dissatisfied voters are not being served by the Republican Party. And so if he wants a chance to get those voters and to, have a shot against Obama, he's going to have to change his platform enough so that he will appeal to those people as well.
And Shelley, when we talk about the convention coming up in Tampa in August, there's a lot of things that people aren't really sure of. I mean, this strategy that we're seeing right now with Ron Paul, with sort of building up the delegate counts, these sort of arcane rules. Ron Paul and his campaign said from the beginning that this is the strategy they were going to use, and sure enough, it's slowly but surely working for them. What do you expect that we will see at the campaign in August? Sorry, at the convention.
Oh, I absolutely expect to see fireworks. I think Ron Paul supporters are so passionate and they're so engaged, and they learned so much in 2008 that we're already seeing better organization, more sophistication, and really, the execution of this campaign strategy has been so successful, despite all of the media blackout and all of that, that it's really encouraging. And I think we're going to see at the convention, it's going to come to a head, and we're going to have some coverage. There's going to be a debate, and that's really going to benefit the country.
Do you expect that Ron Paul could be a kingmaker, especially if he throws his support behind Romney?
Well, I really don't see Ron Paul throwing his support behind Romney. So I don't think that's likely to happen.
It's certainly hard to tell. There's so many differing viewpoints between the two men, but there's a lot in the inside circles who say at the very least they're friends. You don't hear either of them attacking the other one. So it should be interesting, and we'll keep an eye on it as things are changing, as we're seeing every single day. Political analyst Shelley Roche in San Francisco, thanks so much.